The majority of Yellowstone National Park may be found in the U.S. state of Wyoming, which contributes to the park's status as a well-liked vacation spot. Yellowstone National Park is known for its breathtaking natural wonders. It is home to a vast variety of natural wonders, such as geysers, hot springs, and a plethora of different kinds of animals. Yet, Yellowstone is also known as the location of one of the most dangerous supervolcanoes in the world. This supervolcano has the capacity to unleash a catastrophic eruption that might have an effect on the entire planet. Despite this, Yellowstone is one of the national parks in the United States that receives the most visitors. During the past few years, there has been a growing body of evidence that lends credence to the theory that the United States Navy may have conducted experiments that could have led to an eruption of this kind. Because of this, questions have been raised about the potential dangers that are associated with conducting this kind of study. It is believed that Yellowstone's supervolcano has been the location of 3 big eruptions in the past, and its age is estimated to be close to 2.1 million years old. The most recent eruption occurred approximately 640,000 years ago, and it was one of the most powerful volcanic explosions in the history of our planet. Because of the eruption that took place, the Yellowstone caldera, a massive volcanic crater with a diameter of approximately 75 kilometers, or 47 miles, was formed. This crater is located in the Yellowstone National Park. The eruption caused a period of worldwide cold that lingered for a number of years and expelled an estimated 2,500 times more volcanic material into the atmosphere than the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980. This led to a period of global cold that persisted for a number of years. The scientists who keep a careful eye on Yellowstone volcano in search of any signs of activity are extremely concerned about the prospect of a future eruption of the volcano, due to the fact that it is possible. Despite the fact that it is difficult to forecast how likely it is that another eruption will take place, scientists estimate that there is a 1 in 730,000 chance that a catastrophic eruption will take place in any given year. This is despite the fact that it is possible to know for certain how likely it is that another eruption will take place. Although this might not look like much of a threat at first glance, the consequences of something like this happening would be incredibly serious. Not only would an eruption of Yellowstone's supervolcano have a horrible impact on the ecosystem, but it would also have a significant impact on the climate and economic conditions of the entire planet. After the initial eruption, there would be a massive cloud of ash and other volcanic debris that would be discharged into the atmosphere. This would do enormous harm to the infrastructure, agricultural systems, and transportation networks of the world. The ash cloud would also have a significant influence on the climate of the entire planet, bringing about a precipitous drop in temperature and reducing the amount of sunlight that reached the surface of the world. This would have a negative effect on the amount of food that is produced as well as the agricultural yields. The ash from the volcano would also cause a significant amount of damage to the ecology, which would result in the loss of habitats for a great number of different animal species and would eventually cause the extinction of some of those species. During the eruption, gases such as carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide could be released into the atmosphere, which could have a significant effect on the climate of the entire planet. It is possible that this may lead to an increase in the quantities of greenhouse gases and will speed up the process of climate change. Tests being conducted at Yellowstone National Park that have the potential to spark off a supervolcano eruption are causing alarm, which is normal considering the potential risks associated with setting off such an event. According to a recent article that was published in Newsweek, there has been some speculation that the United States Navy carried out experiments in the 1950s that may have been responsible for an explosion that took place in Yellowstone. This is based on the fact that these experiments were carried out around the same time that the explosion took place. In particular, there is a school of thought that suggests the United States Navy detonated a nuclear bomb hundreds of feet below the surface of the planet in an effort to create an entirely new category of weapon. In spite of the fact that it might sound like something out of a science fiction novel, there have actually been instances in which nuclear weapons were deployed to create volcanic eruptions. Experiments with underground nuclear explosions have been carried out by scientists in the past for a number of reasons, such as the creation of channels for the extraction of oil and gas, for example. On the other hand, the use of nuclear bombs to provoke the eruption of a volcano entails a substantially larger risk of catastrophic consequences. This risk is significantly higher than the risk posed by natural volcanic eruptions. According to a piece that was written and published in Newsweek, the Navy's trials were part of a bigger research effort that was known as Operation Plowshare. This program has been going on for a number of years. The major goal of this program was to examine the possible uses of nuclear power, other than those normally associated with the military. In the 1970s, the plan was scrapped due to concerns about the potential risks posed by nuclear explosions, which led to the termination of the program. Concerns of this nature ultimately resulted in the cancellation of the program. In spite of this, there is persistent speculation that the tests carried out by the Navy could have been the cause of an eruption at Yellowstone. This is the case despite the absence of data that can clearly support the allegation that these experiments were the cause of the eruption. Despite the fact that the concept of using nuclear bombs to control volcanic activity has been discussed for decades, there are still many people who hold the belief that doing so would result in more negative consequences than positive ones. These people hold this belief despite the fact that the concept has been around for decades. To begin, it is the duty of the government of the United States to safeguard not just the physical and mental well-being of its citizens, but also the integrity of the natural environment in which they live. The use of nuclear bombs in an attempt to contain the supervolcano that is located in Yellowstone would be exceedingly risky and might have catastrophic impacts that would last for a very long time. Consider, as a supplementary point of consideration, there might be some consequences that were not anticipated. In spite of the fact that scientists and researchers may have a fundamental understanding of how volcanoes function and what causes them to erupt, there are still a great deal of questions that have not been satisfactorily resolved. The explosion of nuclear bombs could set off a chain reaction, which could lead to an eruption that is considerably more devastating, or could set off even more volcanic activity in the area. The use of nuclear bombs poses a number of problems, not the least of which is the chance for unexpected results. In addition to this difficulty, there is also the issue of the influence on the environment to consider. Radiation that is released into the atmosphere as a result of a nuclear explosion may have far-reaching impact. These effects may include the potential to taint water sources and cause harm to local flora and fauna. It is quite clear that the deployment of nuclear bombs as a solution to the problem posed by Yellowstone's supervolcano is not an option because of the dangers that are posed by these bombs. Instead, it is vital that academics and scientists continue their inquiry and monitoring of the volcano in order to get a deeper understanding of how it operates and how best to prepare for any future eruptions that may occur. In conclusion, the utilization of nuclear bombs as a potential method for controlling the supervolcano that can be found in Yellowstone is a topic that is fraught with controversy. Despite the fact that there are some people who believe that it may be a useful technique to avert a catastrophic eruption, a large number of others believe that it would lead to more difficulties than it would solve as a result. The use of nuclear bombs presents far too many risks for its benefits, and some of these risks include the possibility of unanticipated effects as well as harm to the natural environment. Instead, it is vital that academics and scientists continue their inquiry and monitoring of the volcano in order to get a deeper understanding of how it operates and how best to prepare for any future eruptions that may occur. If they take this step, they will be able to contribute to the protection of both the population of the United States and the environment. Let us know what you think about the experiments of the U.S. Navy in the comments section below.